Wait for all these things to catch up. There we go. Okay. Should be live. Wait for the software there to catch up. Awesome. Disable that. Cool. Well, there we go. Hey there, hi there, everybody. RobVonShoe here. And today I am going to be going through the week 2 and see how far into week 3 of the Mole Man expeditions. I wound up sitting out last week just because I lost track of time. And yeah, I got some catching up to do. This is going to be the first real, where are we at? Live stream that I'm doing that actually kind of may or may not work. So please bear with me if things are wonky. Still trying to figure everything out here and make sure it works. Chat should be active. There's that, in case anybody is interested. Try and keep an eye on that. See if that works. And everything looks good. Cool. All right, so here we go. Week 1, I went through day of and just 100%ed everything. Like I said, week 2 have sat out, and week 3 just came out today. So we will see what is up with that. What do I want to do? What am I doing? That's a very good question. What am I doing? Well, let's get some of the obvious winners out there. Get that going. So Wasp and Ghost are my 2 current go-tos. They are amazing. And then I want somebody for Mole Man at the end. So I don't know. Let's go for the synergy. I did it with a Sunspot last time. That worked out pretty decent, but my Sunspot is in Alliance Quest right now, the 5-star, so we will see how this guy does. I'm just going to go clockwise here. Start from one end and work my way down to the other. See what happens there. I'm assuming that week 2 and then subsequently week 3 are going to get progressively more difficult. Just based on how similar events have worked in the past. And I kind of hope so. Not that I was disappointed the first time around, but I always do appreciate a good challenge. And then the other bit with this too is that I'm trying to go through this item list. I got to save my resources to finish 100%ing 6.3. And then with 6.4 that just came out, got to really pool my resources for that because that is going to be expensive. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. I do appreciate just how much free stuff that they are winding up including on the paths for this. I think it's a really interesting twist on their usual mechanics of having the biggest rewards at 100% completion. And this time around, they're having the biggest rewards just on the paths themselves. So you still get the same amount of stuff by the time you 100% complete it, but you don't have to 100% complete it to get a little bit of everything. Or the best stuff, I should say. So that's cool. Plus, it gives you the option to pick and choose, too. So if there's stuff on some path that you want more than others, you can just hit those. So that's nice. But we're making our way through here pretty good. Nothing too crazy. See how the boss is. Now, I'm assuming... What was I going to say? I'm assuming that the playback is going okay here so far, but again, I do apologize if it isn't. Still trying to figure all that good jazz out. But Molman does not seem to be all that difficult of an opponent. You just can't hit into his block because then he goes unstoppable and he just ruins your day a little bit. I'm assuming that in war, having this guy on defense is going to be a little bit more annoying than how he is in quests, but yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't that bad at all. And go back to quest, and we just gonna cycle through this. What's that? What's this? Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's nice. Always appreciate some free stuff. So, cheers to Kabam on that. I'm still waiting to hear back for the Abyss of Legends completion. It's been about 2 months. I'm not going to bug Kabam. I think they have a couple more pressing things on their agenda than getting those Legends rewards out. That having been said, it would be very nice to know whether or not I placed in the top amount or not, just so I can make some better informed rank up decisions. But we'll see. We'll see. So, not too bad so far. Nothing too crazy. Getting going. Okay, got his evade out of the way. That just opens him right up for some abuse until he fires off a special one, gets his single evade back. Which is gonna happen right now. Neat. There's that. And now we can just punch back into him like it's nobody's business. Get that evade drawn out there. Dex back, avoid the counter hit from him, and there we go. Easy peasy. Overall, I gotta say, just based off of the couple of maps that I've done here so far for the expeditions, that's probably some of the most fun I've had in some of the bonus content that Kabam's released in recent memory, at least. The rewards are awesome, which is a big plus. It costs no energy to do it, which is also a big plus. And it doesn't rush you either. So obviously it would behoove you to keep going with it on a weekly basis so it doesn't like sneak up on you or get away from you just because there's an awful lot of it. But if you wanted to wait till the last week and just go crazy and do it all at once, you can. Come on, buddy. Thank you. I prefer to do it piecemeal because I'm going to wind up doing all 4 difficulties 100% most like, just because of the 0 energy cost. You may as well. It doesn't really cost you anything but time. You get a bunch of free stuff out of it too, so. Dex the shock. Dex the second attack. And cool. There we go. Boss number 2 in the bin. So here we go. Path number 3 on section 1. I'm getting through it pretty decent. Now I could turn on suicides and speed things up just a little bit, especially since my team here is really optimized for it. Ghost especially, and just ghost my way through it. But my AQ team, take a little bit of punishment there. My AQ team is not optimized for suicides, and that is really where my main focus is right now. Plus, I don't want to waste the units shifting them back and forth, which I hope at some point Kabam addresses. Gets either like a lets you save the various different skill trees the way that you want them, so you can just toggle at a single click, or just does away with the unit cost altogether. They've reduced it in the past, was it? That was almost a year and a half, 2 years ago now, hasn't it? But they reduced the cost from what it used to be, which is really nice. But even still, that adds up. Especially if you, like for a war map, for example, need to toggle suicides on and off several times during a single war. That really starts to get costly. So, but you know, there I go again. One more thing for the Kabam to-do list, and honest to goodness, these guys have, I think they've got a couple things on their plate already. I do appreciate the new energy calendar that they came out with yesterday. I think their heart was in the right place there. Just like a nice little acknowledgement of the craziness going on right now. So good on them. Here we go, boss number 3. Just really cranking this out, easy peasy. Now I haven't really gotten too far into the weeds. Dex. Need it, I guess. For Mole Man's abilities. So he's got 2 Monster Mass. I'm gonna call it Monster Mash, I don't care, that's more fun. He's got 4 Monster Mashes up, which means that if I attack into his block, the dude just hangs back for a bit. Where are you at, dude? Hang back. Yeah, then he goes unstoppable, and then... Okay, now he's Frenzy. I should go back to 0. Yeah, which means that if he does block... Come on, dude. Come on, dude, I want to test this out. There you go. Oh. So if he's at 0, I'm assuming that he doesn't go unstoppable if you hit into his block, but... I've got 9 more Mole Men on this map to test out, so I think I'll get my chance. Section 2. Moving right along. Got Taskmaster, who... Oh man. He can be such a pain in the butt on the right nodes. Especially in Act 6 and in War. But I only just recently pulled a 5-star version, this past week, in fact. And I haven't ever played him. I've had him as a 4-star for ages, just sitting on my bench. But outside of just building up a basic arena streak, I haven't ever really used 4 stars for anything recently. So it'll be nice to have him as a 5-star now. And currently he's ranked 2 already. Hopefully get a chance to play around with him a little bit and just figure out his mechanics, see what he does. Now I think it's Taskmaster that has the infinite bleed synergy with Hawkeye. I think it's Taskmaster. Where Hawkeye can hemorrhage unlimited amount of times off his special 3 instead of just the 1 that he can by himself, which would be really nice if the 200% power gain skill boost actually benefited Hawkeye at all. Because like the idea would be like you would launch a special 3, do enough damage to immediately get bar and a half, 2 bars of power back, lickety split, and then be able to launch into another special 3 and just keep that cycle up and get multiple of those huge hemorrhage bleeds going on an opponent at once. Right. So theoretically, that would could make Hawkeye one of the better bleed champs in the game, just with a little bit of work. Unfortunately, that's not how that winds up playing out. Knock this guy back. And the only reason it's not the reason that works, there we go, is because Hawkeye, bless his heart, little Hawkeye's attack damage does so little against an enemy where like stacking the hemorrhage bleeds would actually be beneficial. So any sort of tanky champ, even Realm of Legends, Winter Soldier, everybody's favorite punching bag. Even against him, as weak as he is, because he has so much HP and Hawkeye's special 3 does so little attack damage, you don't get any of the benefit from that skill boost, which is a real shame. Because the skill boost is entirely reliant on the amount of damage that you do, so... Oh, interesting. Still seem to be unstoppable there, even with 0. Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But anyway, the skill boost is based solely on the the damage that you wind up doing, right? So if you do no damage, you get no power back. Whoops. Ran into that. Oh, okay. So if you do no damage, you get no power, and you wind up wasting a boost. So really, I'm be doing a video on this later on, just because I think it's interesting. And one more thing for the Kabam to-do list is to look at those boosts again, because there's only a small subset of champs that those boosts actually benefit. And really, it's the champs. I'm not complaining because it's really helpful for speeding through content or Legends runs, but for like 99% of the champs in the game, it really doesn't do anything unless you're a huge god tier attack champ, like your Ghosts or your Corvuses or Wasp when you ramp her up. A number of others, but for most of the forgotten champs, yeah, it doesn't do doesn't do nothing. It'll be interesting to see once that Black Widow movie comes out, what they wind up doing with Taskmaster. Same with Moon Knight too. Now that I think about it, once Disney Plus gets his show going, like what they wind up doing with it or how they wind up spinning it. Like if they keep it somewhat grounded in reality or reality logic, like they did with the what are they calling it? The Infinity Saga, right? With the exception of a couple characters. Like if it's a realistic take on things, to get Moon Knight his moon powers and Taskmaster his amnesia powers, I guess. Or if they just, since they're starting off with, the Eternals, really, they start diving a bit more into the mystical and, frankly, the comic book power aspect of everybody. But I suppose that all really just depends when those all actually wind up coming out, because the Black Widow movie has been postponed indefinitely now for obvious strategic reasons, and I'm sure that everything else has been pushed down the road ways too, so we'll see how that all goes. I'll be excited when it comes out, but I, along with 99% of everybody else, it's the obvious, rational, safe thing to do, so no worries, no rush. Gotta stay safe and take care of each other. That's the important part. Well, Widow's down. That was easy peasy. Going to get to Mole Man number 5. Just knock this guy out here quick again. Well, actually no, let's test that out, see if I can proc block. Yeah, so if he's got 0 monster mash charges, he does not go unstoppable, which is good. Now he's got 1. Dodge the shock, dodge the swipe. Like it'll be interesting to fight this guy when he's on a like on some of the more annoying nodes, like stun immune. I'm gonna go plug my phone in here in a sec. Like if he's stun immune, then that's gonna be really annoying, because it really limits the window where you can actually hit the dude. Or was it wild charge? So you can't hit him while he's blocking, and you can't hit him while he's charging. And especially then if you also couple it with the stun, you're toast. Uh-oh. Okay, looks like we're back. Maybe. Maybe? Okay. Well, let's get back to it. Just saw a bit of lag popping up on my window there. Wondering if that was just the website throwing a little bit of a fit, or for something on my end. But once you figure out the trick for that massacre fight, it wound up being a lot of fun, because it was skill based, and there are, I think, a pretty even amount of fights in Abyss. Well, no, I take it back. It felt like a lot of the fights in Abyss were just the gotcha kind of fights, where it's just forcing you to either spend units, or it's just dumb mechanics, like just potions suck. But the massacre fight, I felt, and a couple others, were pure skill fights at the end of the day. Like with the proper amount of skill and smart timing and whatnot, you can knock it out pretty easy. So that was fun. Here we go. Last Mole Man boss on this half of week 2. Moving right along. Stay thirsty, my friends. Okay, so let's try, well, let's get a little bit of prowess. Let's get the special 1 going to get some of the plasma debuffs going. Duck out of the way of Mole Mite there. Come on, buddy. There you go. Thank you. And special 2. Easy game, easy life. Cool. Halfway done. Now we get to the Kill Monkey fight. What was the guy's name? Mole Man reminds me of what's his face from Beauty and the Beast? Gaston's buddy. Can't remember his name to save my life, but he's got, you know, the big nose, a little on the portly side. Fun, silly character design. Whoops. Uh-oh. Okay, that worked out. Take a little bit of reverb damage, but that's not that bad. Nailed it. Moving right along. I do appreciate the 25 6-star shards that they scatter around piecemeal. It's pretty nice. I think I remember seeing on the forums that all added together from all of the paths, 100% completion plus just the regular completion rewards and exploration rewards and whatnot. It should, I think it's a quarter of a 6-star total, 2,000 odd some, 2,500, which is pretty nice for a bonus mission on top of the regular monthly alliance quest. So that's half of a 6-star total. Definitely get used to that. Although I wouldn't mind if they came back out with this a little bit later on, modify it a little bit more, and like have a hybrid of this and Rocket's Scrapyard from a couple years back. We could choose your path, choose your reward. Although just based off of Dorky Dave's video, when he went up to the office and interviewed everybody in person, it doesn't sound like that's a direction anybody is super excited about going in. Which sucks for us, but from a business standpoint, for a game based on chance, I suppose that makes sense, but more choice the better for me. So here we go. Mole Man again. I do very much appreciate too that they kept the 80s sunglasses on Mole Man there. Like the mutants from Dark Knight Returns or Bebop from Ninja Turtles. It was fun. Ouch. Ouch. Alright, get the prowess up. Special to this guy. I don't think it'll kill him. Oh, well, 19,000. That would do it. That would do it. Awesome. I haven't heard any more of the rumors or the stories about Black Panther 2, and I'm sure that it's changed 8 dozen times since the Fox acquisition. I remember one of the original rumors is that they were going to bring back Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger somehow to have a role in Black Panther 2, which obviously I'm very torn about, because on one hand, he was the best part of that movie. Best character, I guess, or at least the art was pretty fantastic too, but character-wise, he was far and away my favorite. But that seems like it'd be a huge, I don't know, not betrayal of the fan base, but you start to break death a little bit. And anytime you break death in a movie, the whole universe kind of tanks a bit, in my opinion. It's always nice to have realistic or established stakes, which will be interesting, I guess, then to see what they do with WandaVision, because her whole point is to find her robot boyfriend in alternate dimensions. Which I also think is very interesting. She's going through time and space and dimensions to find Vision, but, you know, her real life brother is still dead floating around someplace, so actually that'd be really interesting to see what they do with that now that they have X-Men in their roster. Whether they keep the same actor and the same lore, or if they bleed into the lore from the X-Men franchise. Or just explain it all away with a Spider-Man Spider-Verse bit where it's like, oh, well, it's the same character, different dimensions, and both are equally valid. Okay. That's cool. That works. So, Kingpin. Actually, I'm going to try and push Kingpin to a special 2 here. See if they fix that during the maintenance last night. This guy is just special 1 heavy. I don't think he's gonna make it. Because ever since the last patch came out, the animation on his special 2 doesn't show. So Kingpin himself does the movement, but it's really tough to gauge where the laser is, just because the effects are gone. Alright, Mole Man again. I do kind of wish that they would have mixed up the bosses a little bit, like in quests past. Like sometimes it was Invisible Woman, sometimes it was Namor, sometimes it was Reed part of that, or just the 2 of them? But that way it just mixes it up a little bit, so you aren't fighting the same dude 12 times. At least 12 times, because then he pops up randomly too in the map. And is it gonna do it? Almost. Almost should have just called it Mole Man and Giganto. Because Giganto does all the work. Kind of like how in Smash Bros. It's Banjo and Kazooie. And, you know, the actual game itself. But semantics. So here we go, last Killmonger. Just gonna have a little bit of fun with it. But I think because Havoc's attacks are energy based, I shouldn't be getting feedback. Yeah. I shouldn't be getting some of that chip damage on my medium attacks when his armor is up. So that's actually pretty... Should have been doing that all along. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because he's so... It's a pretty unbalanced fight. But like if I run across him in Alliance Quest or War or something, that actually would be a pretty solid idea too. If I didn't have like an armor break champ already. Alright, buddy. There you go, thank you. And detonate. And detonate, there we go, thank you. 5,700 damage. Beautiful. And there we go. Lovely. Alright guys, I'm looking at the clock. I'm only gonna get through week 2 here. Come back later, do week 3. Taking a little bit longer than I thought I would. I got a couple personal life things to go take care of. But we'll get through week 2 here, get the rewards, finish that up, get set up for week 3, possibly later tonight. Alright, and then go into special 2. And that didn't do as much as I would have liked, but I didn't really have them built up, so I can't complain. Easy game, easy life. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've got a wasp on my roster. Would you look at that? That's gonna make this a piece of cake. There's that. And get into... I will definitely take tier 5 basic. That is always appreciated. Really looking forward to today. As of this recording, it's the 18th. I think it's the 22nd that they were saying that they're going to be updating the Glory Store and just reducing costs on everything, including tier 5 basic, tier 2 alpha, and then whole tier 4 basic catalysts and tier 1 alpha, which still are just so hard to come by. Plus it goes so fast too. Push this guy to special 2, it should be easier to dex. Because like when a single rank up for a single champ takes the vast majority of tier 4 basic in your stash, you know, you can only carry so much at one time and juggle so much in your overflow without worrying about it expiring. That really slows down, A, slows down the progress that you can get in ranking champs up, and B, really forces you to prioritize who you want to rank up then based on your class catalyst too. So, like currently I've got a Mystic tier 4 class that's going to be expiring here in a day and change, and it's not that I don't have a champ for it, it's just that I don't have enough of the secondary items to justify it. Like I'd rather lose one tier 5 Mystic than use it and blow 2 others in addition to, which is at this point in my game, more important to me, the tier 4 basic to take him up. I've got other champs too that I want to take up that are a slightly higher priority than that Mystic one. Oh, ouch. See how much this does. It's negligible. But that was my own fault, you know. Popped too many of the map 6 and map 7 crystals and wound up getting stuff in the overflow. So here we go. Section 4 of week 2. Getting Prince Charming here. This whole thing is really funny. A couple weeks ago, when Longshot was the featured and She-Hulk was the sub-featured. You have Prince Charming and Fiona. But he goes down easy peasy. Now here is Squirrel Girl, who I have, luckily. I do have a version of her. But she's going to be in the new batch of 5 stars that's coming out next week. So I would love to awaken her. Because, for one, she's a lot of fun to play. Her squirrel sidekick companion, I think, is hilarious. Plus, the amount of bleed damage that she can do through blocks is really, really can be useful. But I think, moreover, and this is something that I'd like to explore more, and I kind of wish I could see more, or other YouTubers do as well, is to explore her hit manipulation, especially on some of the nodes that ramp up damage based on the number of hits you get. If you're able to manipulate it back down to a much more manageable number without losing your combo, it could be interesting to see some of the different uses and applications for that. So Magic here is one of the champs that I think is never going to be an available 6-star. Right up there with Blade, with Quake, and with Stark Spider-Man. And Scarlet Witch, obviously, but she's not even a 5-star yet. Just because Magic is can be so OP in the right situation. Like, she was one of the first champs in the game. Year 1 and change is when she came out. That she was just fantastic. Fantastic champ. She was my second 5-star. My first 5-star was a Storm, which hurt. My second 5-star was a Magic, and that was before Magic got her amazing buff. So that was like pulling Iron Patriot today. So my first 2 5-stars were complete garbage. And then my third 5-star was another Storm. So for you guys out there who are just pulling your first couple 5-stars or first couple 6-stars, and you know, they aren't some huge beyond god tier champion or even frankly useful, believe you me when I say I've been there. I know how that is. That hurts. That really hurts. Cool. One less mole man to worry about later on. Pardon my slurping there. Here we go, Prince Charming himself. Still can't believe I got him as a 6-star. That's so stupid lucky. If you haven't seen the video, go check that out. It's on my channel as well. We got one of the early access bundles for Mojo. Just because I was going... I was just going for the 30% boosts that came with it. The 1,000 6-star shards on top of everything was icing on the cake, and then I full on expected to get 5 3-stars out of it. And lo and behold, the first one was 6-star long shot. Unbelievable. I'm still laughing about that. Like, the odds of that are so ridiculously small. It just goes to show. Sometimes you're hot, and sometimes you just really luck out. But that's like a 1% chance. Less with the booster rate, perhaps. This is 0.3% chance for featured 6-star. So in that case, Mojo. But since Longshot was sub-featured, it's boosted. Except they don't ever release what... They speed that up. They look like it's sped up. Need to be mindful of that. So here we go, Doc Hawk. This is another champ who's super annoying on on invade. Because even though he's been out for a while, his tentacles still throw me for a loop as to where his hitbox is. So if you're trying to avoid getting hit, or if there's like a degen node, it can be really annoying or tricky, for me at least. Figuring out when the right time to parry him is, or when the right time to avoid and dex him is. But then again, I'm a scrub, so your mileage will vary. Second to last one. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. I need to look at Mole Man too to see if there's another way to reduce his monster mash. Oh, okay. Just keep hitting into his... That makes sense. You can reduce it, but you're gonna pay for it. You might be able to do that with a projectile-based special attack, like Blade's Special 1 and 2, or Electra's Special 1 or 2. That way you can safely hit into his block without worrying about getting parried or countered into oblivion. Might not be a bad idea. We need to try that out with Quake too. If it's just physical contact or if you take damage. Alright, buddy, come on. And good night, sweet prince. But then again, based off of all of the negative reviews that the poor guy's been getting, we may not see a whole lot of him anytime soon. Now that's surprising that I haven't... There we go. Proctor regen. Knock that out real quick. Get this off before the regen pops up again. Easy game, easy life. Excuse me. Oh, well, that's nice. Save one of my favorite champs for last. It's another reason I'm really happy that they're starting to introduce more ways to get tier 5 basic. Because I want to take up my 6-star so bad. I'm so tempted to have her be my second or third rank 3 skill champ. Like, I've got Thor Rags already, which was so painful, but necessary prestige-wise. Second one's probably going to be Stealth Spider-Man for his utility, his prestige, and once he's awakened, his ridiculous attack potential. But then I have a third one because, you know, it's Kabam and they like to load you up with stuff. So lucky for me, I actually have champs that I'm okay with. So I may be tempted to use it on her since I have her already instead of waiting for Nick Fury. Just because I love Nick, he can do a ridiculous amount of damage. But if you go up against a debuff immune or a bleed immune champ, you're gonna have such a hard time. And there's so many champs that do that, especially boss nodes that are either bleed immune or more often debuff immune, where they shrug off debuffs. Where it's like, not really worth it anymore. But nobody beats his synergies in a skill class. Not even close. There we go. 12 mole men up, 12 mole men down. Easy game, easy life. And there we go, that's week 2. Well guys, sorry to cut this short. I had been hoping to do week 2 and week 3 concurrently. I'm going to come back and do week 3 later on, so be sure to stay posted for that when that happens. But until then, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Every bit helps me out. I'm going to be posting a bunch more gameplay stuff and working on my own version of the content creator program. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. Until next time, take care, be safe, and talk soon. Bye for now, guys.